Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm glad to be here. I hope you're glad to be here. So the 2005 Ford Escape is back. We have a report of a weird noise up front, and the parking brake apparently is not working too good. So we're gonna check it out and go from there. Let's get to it. All right, so customer is asking about getting rear brakes on this. Didn't really get much more info than that, but I told him I'd have to pull it apart, take a look first, see what's going on. When I was pulling it in here, I did hear one of the CV shafts up front making a whole bunch of racket too, so I'll have to make sure to let him know about that. So anyway, I'm gonna get a jack stand on this thing and start pulling things open. I apologize if there's wind noise and whatnot, but we're having storms blow through, so there's not a whole lot I can do. That's why I'm doing this after dark, is because it wouldn't stop raining. We don't have a lock screw, so I guess we just need a little convincing.
Where the river moans, lay the songs of flesh and bone. Down where the devil roams, voices calling out to home. I see the sickle and cow, stranger in black, coming round. Down in the cold dead ground, laying in wait for judgment. How your song at the river, you sinner. Hounds of hell at the river, coming looking for blood. How your song at the river, you sinner.
Right. Let's see. Doesn't look awful. Shoes are... they're getting down there. Well, the front one is. They're not horrific, but... Hey Siri, Lumos. That's a different kind of parking brake, or e-brake, than my truck had. Interesting. I told him that I had shoes on the inside for the parking brake, but I guess my 05 had a different style, because this is like old school cable coming in onto these pads. You all know what time it is. Hashtag not sponsored time. The wind is blowing in my favor. You shall not choke me out today. Black. Man, a lot of brake dust. Guessing the way these are put together is kind of like mine. There's just no way for the dust to get out. Quit it. I find this quite annoying. Bought this case of brake parts cleaner. Thought I was getting a heck of a deal. None of them came with straws. They're not even taped on there. Like factory rejects. That or the guy selling them was just like, ha ha. Maybe he hates mechanics. You know, I don't like how little pad there is on that part. I'm going to measure those and check what they're supposed to be, what spec is, before I say it doesn't need brake work. So, we'll take a timeout.
Hounds of hell at the river, come and look at for blood. Howl your song at the river, you sinner. Hounds of hell at the river, come and look at for blood. Howl your song at the river, you sinner. Hounds of hell at the river, come and looking for blood.
Okay. Hopefully this one doesn't fight.
Like petals on roses, let blood drip from me. There's ghosts all around us, let death walk.
And I pulled this one back a minute ago with my thumb, and I got moisture out, but now it wants to fight. I just don't have enough hands to hold this and do that at the same time. I don't know if you can see that. He's wet. Hold on. Get some better light. Get the shiny in there. Yep. Need a new wheel cylinder. It's all wet. So that's that. That's these pads are looking about like the other side. Luckily they haven't gotten saturated by brake fluid. I don't think we're gonna need a brake hardware kit. Everything in here, you know, the springs, there's no rust. I'm not seeing any excessive wear on any of it. So it's a good thing we checked. I am gonna go ahead and spray this down before I put it back together, just because it'll make it easier for me to get it back apart later also. So there's that. All right. Oh, also looks like this shock is just now starting to seep a little. I mean, it's probably going to be good for another year. I wouldn't really worry about it too much unless you're, you know, always carrying heavy loads or something, but all right. This wheel cylinder has definitely been seeping. I'll leave it up to the customer if they want to rebuild it or replace it, but generally rebuilding it's not worth it, because these only run like, I mean, 10-15 bucks usually. The one on the other side looked like it was fine. I might just recommend both just to be safe. Also pads, it's looking like it's maybe 3.5 millimeters over here, but it's definitely 3. Well, actually it looks like it's probably like 2.5 over here. But the main complaint on the brakes was that the e-brake didn't have any grab to it, and the pads being as low as they are, that'll definitely happen. Brake hardware is in good shape. Don't see any rust, anything like that. So we're gonna clean this up, put it back together, and then I'm gonna check on that CV shaft up front. Might check the front brakes too, just to be thorough. I want to say I checked them before and the rotors were looking pretty rough, but my memory's not so great. Oh yeah, it's even rusty. Where are you from? You're not from here. Brake parts don't rust in Arizona. Like the other side, I mean, it could use new rotors or new drums, but it doesn't need them, so. If it was me, I'd replace them, but they don't need to be done. It's just generally when I personally do. Oh, look at that. Got some decent rust in here. And other goo. Anyway, you don't have to do your rear brakes that often. So generally what I do is, if I'm going to own the vehicle the whole time, when I get it, I'll do the drums and the shoes at the same time, you know, wheel cylinders if they need it, and then I'll do like 2 other pad slaps later on before I ever bother with anything doing anything with the drum again. Because they only do, you know, depending on the car, 10 to 20% of the stopping, whereas everything else is through the front, so. Goony goo-goos. I'll probably, if they stick with these drums, I'll score them up just a little bit before we put them back together with the new shoes, just to make sure everything grabs nice and tight. Don't have any squealing from it settling into old grooves. It's crazy what tiny amount of rust will keep that thing on there. I gotta sit there and beat on it for 20 minutes. And yes, I could use the air hammer on it, but I'm not as versed with my air hammer as, you know, I could be. And I have broken brake drums before, so I'd rather do it by hand for now, especially since it's not my car. I don't want to have to be paying to replace something because I broke it. But, alright, let's get this back together. We're going to super fast mode.
There's nothing I can do to stop me from falling down, down, down. There's nothing I can do to save me from falling down.
Alright, this is night number 2. This is not a comeback. It stayed here. So we're doing emergency repairs for the CV axle and the rear leaking
Where do you go when nobody's home? So hard to let
that's to protect the paint.
go of a skeleton's home.
I try to go through this as quickly and safely as possible, because I don't want to be out here all night, but I want to get this done tonight, if at all possible. So, let's see. Ooh, how did I call that? First thing I'm going to do is remove the 8mm bolt that holds the wheel speed sensor in place. Okay, there. I should just be able to wiggle him out. Maybe. Come on. There you go. Wheel speed sensor. Eek, brake dust. I don't think I cleaned the fronts. 10 holding on the wire for the wheel speed sensor. Okay, that guy's free. So, now we're gonna get the brake line clip off of there. This guy right here. Just grab a hold of it, wiggle it out. That should free this up. There we go. Oh dear God. Add that to the list. That brake line is rough. Yeah, we're not going to mess around with trying to move things and whatnot. We're going to take this off and hang it. So, to make that happen, we got to pull off these little caps, top and bottom, on here. There we go. And those should be 7mm, I believe. Yep, 7mm Allen key, hex head, whatever you want to call them. I wish I had some wobbly bits, or wobbly ratchets. That is not going to give me any room. Urgh. Basically, I'm trying to get around that brake line. I don't want to stress it any more than needs to be. Don't need the extension for the bottom. Yeah, the CV shaft is not going to be fun to get out. Looks like it's been in there a long time, and prior to being an Arizona car. Oh man, that's still kind of stiff. That's what she said. Wow. Out you come. Are you out? Pretty sure that's out. Oh boy. Maybe the bottom's not. Gotta be done. Oh, yep. Yeah. Whew. Calipers hyperextended. Okay. Mediocre size pry bar. Yeah, that bolt's not holding anything. Bet you that bottom would be a turd. Where are you? Oh, for a lift. What I would give for a lift. Okay. Really? Would you come out already? Ugh. Grr. Needle nose pliers, I guess. What in the heck? Oh, helps if you go to the right spot. Without getting compressed a bit. Ah, come on. Maybe it ain't gonna come off without being compressed a bit. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna get my fancy hanger. You know, specialty tools required. Oh, you thought I was not joking. No, it's a hanger. Alright, so with this style, that hole is just teeny tiny. Let's see if I can squish that down enough. Come here, vice grips. I'm just bending the bend out of it, the tip, so I can get it through that little groove in there. So I'm going through this hole, and I'm going up to stay away from the boot. And then I'm gonna go up here as far as I can. Bend it around the spring of the strut. Hold it in place. Alright, now it's up out of the way and the hose isn't being stressed. So we can take our little wire, set it aside. We're not going to need that till final stages. Okay, so you gonna fall out? Yeah, you're probably gonna fall out. Just set that there. I put a lug nut on here so the caliper doesn't flop around on us. Okay. I think the next step's gonna be breaking that loose, so I need to find my breaker bar.
Buzzard flies
Oh wow, he's still recording. My bad.
Swirling like desert dust, I'm dangerous. I'm dangerous. I like to be. Darkness taken over me. Not sorry for what I've done. Living life out on the run. Pray for my sins and cold me. Demons have a hold on me. Swirling like desert dust, I'm dangerous.
Alright, so little update. What you've missed while you were away. While I put you away. Gave that CV shaft a good yank. Try to dislodge it. Nope. Just ripped apart. Left the cup in there. Alright guys, so we are on workday number 2 on this Ford Escape with the CV axle that apparently was forged in the fires of Mordor and installed in hell. But I had me an idea. I'm going to make a specialty tool that involves destroying at least one other tool. So, where did I just put everything? Went and bought a cheapy knockoff version of vice grips from my local Ace Hardware, which is no small thing. But we're going to take the screw out here for the tightness adjustment. Alright, screws out. Next step. Always have your nuts in the right place. Got a 36-inch piece of, what was it, 7/16 threaded rod? All thread, what do you want to call it? And we're going to screw that in where the adjustment screw went on these vice grips. Right? Alright, so I did double nut so that I could tighten down my adjustment here and then lock it in. So the next step is going to be, I'm going to cut the head off my trusty old sledge maul. It's a 4-pounder, I think. 4 or 5. Doesn't say anymore. Wait. It's only 3. Anyway, I've had this thing and used, the hell out of it. And I bought this other 3-pound at Ace also. Much shorter handle, which is something I've kind of wished I had so I could get it into tighter spots. So this we're keeping. That we're destroying. But that is going to be a counterweight on what is going to become my vice grip slide hammer to get that CV shaft out. So we're going to get to work on that hammer. I don't have a heck of a lot of propane left, but it's a lot cheaper than acetylene, so
coming for
That was
you.
rubber.
God in heaven, turn away.
Now
God
that
in
needs to cool
heaven,
off.
sleep. God in heaven won't
Brief
hear
intermission.
your prayer.
Alright, so I reached in there and clamped that vice grip on the CV shaft.
Hear you weep. Hey, sinner, it's judgment day. Feel the heat of hellfire, but it's too late.
A great success.
Hey, sinner,
Yar.
it's judgment day. You're out of time to walk the line.
I'm gonna put just
It's
a tiny bit of
judgment day.
anti-seize on those teeth. Be nice to the next guy.
Saints of glory, take up song. Saints of glory, sing. Strike the sinner, strike the proud. This is judgment day.
Alright, well, reassembly is basically going to be the opposite of disassembly. So, yeah, that's it for this part of it at least. But we are not done. Looks like that ball joint was in a little worse shape than I thought. It might still be holding together, but definitely gonna need to be done soon, probably when they do the brakes. Yep. Yee. That and this brake line up here, I'll get a better shot of it when we put stuff back together. My other concern is the condition of this brake line. Same side, same wheel, but it's likely to assume that if this one's that bad, the other one is too. Alright guys, I'm going to have to call it right here. Even though I continued to work on this, technically the subject at hand changes. So we're going to end it with the CV shaft being fixed or changed. We're going to make a part 2 for the other part of this recording, which is replacing the rear wheel cylinder on one side. Alright, so stay tuned for part 2. Until then, I love you. Take care. Bye.